All right, NABJ family, this is my weekly video as I break down one of the reasons why I believe you should put me back on the National Association of Black Journalists Board of Directors as Vice President Digital. Remember, I served in that capacity for 3 years previously. And here's what really jumps out for me. Out of anybody who's running in this race, nobody has more experience in digital journalism than I do. It's not even close. And this is why it is critically important. I can tell you more than 10 years ago, Herb Lowe was president. Matter of fact, or maybe Brian Monroe was president. I remember talking to both of them. We were at a regional convention. And I was saying then, folks, I've been saying this literally for the last 20 years, that our convention needs to be completely converted into a 100% content convention. That we need to have actual training, real training at the convention, but even beyond the convention. So where are we? Again, that was 20 years ago. That was 15 years ago. It was 10 years ago. And so where are we now? We now are in a content creator world. We're now in a world where we've seen contraction in our business. We're seeing massive cuts, newspapers, television stations, local television stations, broadcast networks, and now we're seeing the rise of social media where individuals really are their own companies, their own media companies. And so now the question is, how do you understand how to do it cost effective? And so I've done these things. I've shown people. I've done this at regional conventions. I did it at the national convention where I sort of laid out what was in my backpack in terms of how we do this. I'm not traveling on the road. I literally carry a portable newsroom in a 22-inch carry-on case, and I'm able to pull that out and then flip my hotel room into an actual television studio. I remember when I gave a speech in Milwaukee and I was flying back, I couldn't catch a flight back out of Milwaukee or Chicago in time to get to DC to do my show. And so what did I do? I actually set up in the Chicago airport. I literally set up in the Chicago airport my lights, my camera, my tripod, my live view, and I did my show right there in the Chicago airport. When the show was done, packed that sucker up, and then went and caught my flight. And so it's important to have someone on the board who understands what that means, but also how to teach it. But this is the thing, and understand when we talk about the perspective. When Columbia University had its first multimedia convergence fellowship, I think that was 2000, I was in the class. I was the only person in the class who had done all the mediums, radio, television, newspaper, magazine. Then you fast forward, University of California at Berkeley, fellowship there as well. What happened when I was there? Well, guess what? That's where this guy presented, Evan Williams, presented this new platform called Audio, podcasting platform. I came back from there. I launched the first Black News audio podcast at the Chicago Defender in 2005. Next year, 2006, I launched the first Black News video podcast. That's in 2006. So this, where we are today, I was there 20 years ago. When I ran blackamericaweb.com for Tom Joyner, we were doing audio and video. Then, that was 2001 to 2003. Why am I saying all of that? Because what is now needed, and this is where NABJ has to be a leader, we have to be teaching our members the business of the business. Give an example. When I launched Roland Unfiltered, that was September 4th, 2018. The same year, John Heilemann and some other folks launched something called The Recount. They went out and raised $32 million. Well, they announced in late December 2022, they were shutting down because they had not figured out a business plan in 4 years. I think it was in January 2023, an outfit, I think in England, bought the assets, and all they had was a Twitter page, 300,000. Bought it for pennies on the dollar. And so you can go to their Twitter feed and you will see the recount. They shut down. They raised $32 million. I launched Roland Unfiltered with one sponsor and $350,000 of my own money. Now look, I understand not every person will have that amount of money. But the reality is, when I was at CNN and TV1, I was buying my own equipment. Why am I saying all of this? Because I had to understand the business of the business. And where many journalists fail is that we know the content. We know how to do that. We know how to shoot and how to edit and how to upload it, but we don't know how to monetize it. So NABJ right now should be teaching our folks the business of the business. We should be having hardcore business sessions at our convention dealing with this here. If I'm your VP Digital, we're also going to create a content creator university. We have a short course that we launch for our students that's for broadcast, that's for print. We need to be doing this on the digital side. We have to be teaching our members how to learn to monetize content, how to be able to attract advertisers, how to understand the algorithm. And then the second piece is this here. NABJ should be joining with Black-owned media in holding ad agencies as well as corporations accountable to invest in Black-owned media, but also the nonprofits. We've got members that will launch nonprofit media organizations, and they are also struggling for resources. This is where NABJ should be strong. This is where we should be using our collective power to hold this industry accountable. $340 billion is spent annually on advertising, and Black-owned media is receiving 0.5 to 1%. The amount of money that Black nonprofits are getting, very, very small. Why is NABJ silent on this issue? I'm on the board, VP Digital, we're not going to be silent. Folks, we're living in a totally different world now. I have built a digital business. It is the largest Black-owned digital news network in the country. Nobody else is doing what we're doing. And what's the key? We're profitable. I launched September 4, 2018. We've been profitable since March 2020. In the black, being able to build, grow. Right now, 15 people working for me. This summer, we got 5 interns. Not free, they're all being paid. Folks, you have to have people in leadership who've been there, done that. We've got to have people in leadership who understand the marketplace, who understand the business. NABJ is celebrating its 50th anniversary. Our leadership must be preparing our organization for the next 50 years. This is where experience matters. And I'm telling you, if we do not lead the effort to teach Black journalists how to be Black media entrepreneurs, how to be Black media owners, how to monetize our content, then we as an organization have failed our members. And that's why you should be casting your ballot for Roland Martin, Vice President Digital. I'll see y'all next week.